Good morning from Oregon, here in, where the fuck am I? I always forget where I am when I start filming. I don't know how that's even possible, but I'm here in Silver Falls State Park. Today gonna be running, slash hiking, slash probably running the Trail of 10 Falls. But because I want a little bit longer of a day, slash a lot longer of a day, I'm gonna be adding on Buck Mountain as well. I'll break this video up into a couple parts. The first part that I'm gonna show you is probably what like 95% of you will not do, but the second part will be the more popular. So yeah, really excited to be out here and kind of meet myself where I'm at mentally these days. I was really planning to do some volcanoes, but that's not where I'm at, so I gotta make the best of it. So yeah, it should be a 17-mile, 2,500 foot day. Now let's get after it. I usually show like trail junctions. I'll show you the main 10 falls part, but for this first part, just follow my GPX. There's so many trails here that this video is gonna be so boring if I just show you every single trail junction. For all one of you who are doing the longer thing that I'm doing today with Buck Mountain, you can go either direction, counterclockwise or clockwise. I'm kind of starting with Buck Mountain because frankly, it's going to be boring compared to the waterfall, the 10 Falls trail section. As you can tell by my heavy breath and the hill here, there's quite a bit of climbing to start this one off. Maybe you can tell, but the trails can get really muddy too. Nine miles in. I've been trying to keep the shots really tight, brief, because I know everybody's here for 10 Falls. But I will say, this is a beautiful loop if you're looking to add additional hiking or running miles. Very, very peaceful over here from what I'm sure will not be the case in about 5 miles or so. And just like that, you're 11 miles into this hike. So yeah, let's talk about the 10-mile trail, the 10-mile Falls trail for a little bit here. If you did it on its own, it's just about 7 miles, 1,500 feet of gain. There's two main areas you can park, the North Falls and the South Falls. You're gonna wanna create a loop if you're just doing that. So it doesn't really matter where you start. The like more popular area, from what I understand, never been here before, is the South Falls. So what I'm gonna do is kind of do half the loop. I'm not gonna cut across the middle just because I don't need to do that. From what I understand, if you cut through the middle, you're not missing any waterfalls. First waterfall of the day, this is Upper North Falls. Technically not part of my loop, but adding it on since it's right here. Alright, so if you had started at the North Falls trailhead, you're right here. This part right here would be the one part you'd have to repeat of this loop. So I'll show you the turnoff. I'm actually not going to go up to that viewpoint I mentioned earlier because there's a bunch other of North Falls. That was Upper North Falls I just showed you. Absolutely worth checking out. It's like a 2-minute detour even if you're not running. Really excited to finally get into like the meat of this trail. I'm like 12 miles in. My pace is so slow. Could care less because I'm filming and just out here enjoying the day. So yeah, really excited to see the rest of the waterfalls here. If you were doing the full 10 Falls loop, you would basically be coming either from this way or this way if you were finishing back at the lot over there. Or if you're doing the full loop, you'd be going either this way or this way. The North Rim Trail is new as of 2023, I believe. It's gonna be a lot tougher to run and film in this part of the hike. So this is the 10 Falls Trail we're officially on now. We're doing the loop down from north to south. And the first falls we have that I showed you a couple times is North Falls. Oh my God. That's North Falls. I'm on the canyon trail going downstream, so with the water, if you will. It's really pretty, just right along the stream here. And it's a little bit later in the afternoon, so not as many people. It's a Saturday, so it's gonna be crowded. I'm trying my best to like give you realistic shots, but also let you enjoy it without 100 people in it. That was Twin Falls. Definitely less impressive than North Falls. I think that's technically waterfall free. This is Middle North Falls. This is a detour from the main trail, but it's definitely worth checking out. So headed down here now. That was Drake Falls. If you're a Kendrick guy, very underwhelming. This reference is going to make no sense in about 1 year. Obviously that is Lower South Falls. The flow of the river switched up at some point, and now you have a big climb to the last waterfall, which is South Falls. Yeah, really happy with how I was able to get some shots, get some running. Obviously there's not a ton of running when I'm stopping every 2 seconds, and there's so many people too. This does this no justice, but pretty wildflowers out here. Really beautiful. Back in the car, for those of you who don't have eyeballs. I mean, what's there to say? 10 Falls Trail, Buck Mountain Loop added on. It was a perfect day for what I needed today. I wanted to see a kind of classic here in Oregon, and I also needed to get some miles in. You have to keep this in mind when you're doing any kind of tracking with canyons, with waterfalls. Like I was obviously under waterfalls. Your GPS is not going to work right, so my mileage is way off from what I was supposed to have. I think this would likely be about an 18 mile, 17 and a half mile day. For me, if you just did the 10 Falls Trail, again, it's about 7.5, 8 miles with 1,500 feet of elevation gain or so. Honestly, like even if you were going upstream, the gain is very gradual, but I did like the way of going from north to south. The only negative about that is if you go north to south, you're basically gonna have a hike back with no kind of waterfall views, so it kind of takes away a little bit, but that's why that North Ridge Trail is created, is just to like cut back on mileage, I believe. Overall, this is a gem hike. I don't know if it's destination worthy, like fly to Portland to Oregon to see it, but definitely if you're here, you got to check this one out. If you're new to my channel, I have trail guides from all across the country, including Oregon. One of my most popular videos is Mount Hood, so check those out. Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, every single hike has a full guide on my website, thevirtualsherpa.com. To help support the channel, you can join the Patreon with trip planning, with recommendations, all that fun stuff. And then of course, if you want to just buy some virtual Sherpa gear as well, it's on the website. Really great way to start off my little trip here in Oregon. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see y'all on the next adventure.